Universal Islands of Adventure is packed with some of the best rides in Orlando, but are they all worth it? Let's find out which ones should be kept and which ones should be scrapped. Let's start with the headline attraction. One of their newest coasters and definitely one of my favourites, and that is, of course, VelociCoaster. This is a fantastic intimate attraction. It is so very well themed in the whole queue line, the way that you go through everything, the actual ride itself is fantastic. There are some amazing elements in this one. That Mosasaurus roll over the lake at the end is probably the best inversion I've ever done. It is just fantastic. So there is absolutely no surprises. We're going to start this one very strong and keep this ride. Then on the flip side, you have an attraction that has been there quite a while. It's actually had a complete retrack and it's still horrible. And that is the Incredible Hulk. Now it's a B&M coaster and, you know, B&M seem to be in a really weird place right now. They've gone from being manufacturers of some of the smoothest rides to being known for the B&M rattle. And this one definitely has that. When I was on it last year, it wasn't great. As I say, it's been retracked and it kind of still feels rough as hell. It's a little bit like Nemesis Reborn. So yeah, unfortunately, whilst I appreciate this, visually it's fantastic and conceptually it is great, in practice it just doesn't work. So I personally would scrap it. Another one of those amazing attractions that they have, and it's another one with a ridiculously long name. I'm gonna have to read this one. Hagrid's Magical Creatures Motorbike Adventure. The Hagrid's ride. This thing is stunning. This is an absolute masterpiece in so many ways. What I find really bizarre about this one though is it runs something crazy like 8 trains, so you would think this is a very high capacity throughput ride. But it has some of the longest lines and they still have not put an express pass on this. Now, I think I heard something that they're considering it or they're doing it. It needs it. I made the mistake of going into the single rider queue, not intentionally. It wasn't very well signposted. There was a sign kind of about 20 foot away from the 2 arches. So when I got to the arches, I didn't know there was any difference and I just went through one. That single rider goes slower than the main queue because it's just, you know, it's 2 abreast all the way, so it's very rare that you get a spare seat. Single rider is definitely not worth doing. But nonetheless, this is fantastic. It's multi-launch, it's whippy, it's good fun. There's the animatronics, there's the drop track, there's the spike, it's got everything. It is fantastic. And unsurprisingly, this one is also getting kept. There's another attraction that is Harry Potter based, and that is the Forbidden Journey. Now this is the one in that big castle, and it's the Cougar Arm ride, I think it is. You don't know that when you get into it, right? You just see these kind of cabin things on a conveyor belt going along, and you get in and you kind of get strapped in with these over-shoulder restraints. But then once you kind of leave that platform, that is when, you know, as I say, you can't see this, but you're basically on this gigantic robotic arm and it's absolutely flinging you around. And this is a weird one though, because it's a great ride. It's fantastic. There's a mix of props and there is some screens. If you don't want to know how it works, maybe skip on a little bit. But basically there's bits where the arm chucks you into these kind of domed screens, and the dome screens are on a conveyor belt. So they're kind of moving along, and then when you get to the end of that scene, you kind of come out and you're back into physical props. It's brilliant, it is fantastic. If you sit on the edge, you can kind of see what's going on. Again, I've just watched Sean Theme Park Worldwide's Epic Universe video, and the new Monsters ride is the same technology, but the difference is they allow you to see other rides, like it's part of the experience, so you can see the other arms floating around. Well, not floating around, but riding around. So this is kind of good in that it tries to hide it from you, but if you are sitting on the edge and you peek around the corner, you can kind of see behind the scenes and what's going on, which sort of ruins the magic. Unless you're a geek like me, then you'll love that stuff. In any case, this is a very enjoyable ride, and it's another one I'm going to keep. Now we're in Florida, and that of course means that you are going to be absolutely sweating, because all year round, that place is toasty. And they have a couple of water rides to help with this. Now one of those is the Popeye and Bluto's Bilge-Rat Barges. Again, stupid names. Basically it's the river rapids. This one is, there's no might get wet, this is will get soaked. It's unavoidable, there's bits where they're just chucking water at you. You're not coming off this thing dry. Again, you're in Florida, you probably want that anyway. It doesn't take too long to dry off afterwards. It is, however, a fantastic set of rapids, and definitely one that I would keep. Sticking with the water rides, they've got the Jurassic Park River Adventure. An interesting ride, again, sort of boat ride, kind of goes through, meandering through, you see all these dinosaurs, and you're like, oh, this is nice, and it's supposed to be, it's not David Attenborough, but it's that kind of thing. It's supposed to be like, oh, a nature thing, and look, here's some dinosaurs, and then it's, oh my god, you've gone off track, and you're in a bit you shouldn't be, and danger, and then of course you go in, and then there's a big drop, and splash. It's good, it is good, probably not the best of their attractions, starting to show its age, but I still enjoy this one, and I'm going to put it in my keep pile. The next one I was a little bit disappointed with on my last visit, which kind of frustrated me because I had good memories of this one. I mean, that is the Spider-Man attraction. Now, it's very, very similar to the Transformers ride in the other park, and I've just done a similar video for there where I gave its praises and said I want to keep it. This one, I remember it fondly as being, oh my god, this is brilliant for its age, it's amazing, blah, blah, blah. And I went on it last year, yeah, and I wasn't impressed. I just didn't feel like the same attraction that I remembered it, or I'd hyped it up in my head. So despite the fact that I like the Transformers one, which is very, very similar, this one let me down. So I'm gonna scrap it. Another attraction that makes absolutely no sense. And it's one of those things, when I did the other park, Universal went through a phase where everything was screen-based. And it wasn't their best phase. This next attraction goes in there, right? And it is Skull Island Reign of Kong. Now you get in this vehicle and you drive through. I mean, it's on a track, so it's not really driving through. And this used to be 3D, and the last time I went, they took the 3D off, which didn't make any difference. I still am not a fan of this attraction. It's heavily screen-based. There's tons of bits where you're sort of sitting on this kind of moving platform, and there's screens on both sides. And terrible, absolutely terrible. The queue line's quite good, very well themed. The ride isn't, so it's just past it. Get rid of it, scrap it. There's a ride that I have a sneaking suspicion I have never done, and that is the Dudley Do-Right's Ripsaw Falls thing. The sort of canoe boat, log flume, doohickey. The cartoony one looks fantastic. Another guaranteed soaker. I might have done it. I may have done it 20 years ago. I certainly haven't done it in my last 2 visits. I'm not quite sure why. So this is a tricky one. I think from what I've seen of it off-ride, and I have no recollections of it if I've done it many years ago, it looks pretty good. Again, water ride, Florida, definitely makes sense. So I'm going to give this one the benefit of the doubt and say keep. But I could be wrong. If you've been on this one and I am wrong, please tell me, because it does look really good and it looks like it would fit very well in Florida. Right, we're about halfway through this list, and if you agree with me that Islands of Adventure is better than Universal Studios, make sure you hit that like button. Next attraction is one that I have only recently been on for the first time, because it didn't really appeal to me, and then I thought, oh, I may as well give it a go. And that's the Doctor Doom's Freefall thing. Basically 2 SNS towers, 2 drop towers. They may not be SNS, I think they are. It's quite well done actually. I was quite impressed with it in terms of, I mean, this is a very common flat ride basically that you see all around the world. And they've managed to theme this pretty well by, you know, you go into this room and there's all this stuff going on about Doctor Doom and that. And then even when you get there, you're standing around and you can't even see the gondola, like it's enclosed, and then all these doors open and you go in and you get on, and like for a very simple ride, they've done a pretty good job of this one. And if my recollection of it, the one I went on, there's 2 towers. I don't know if they're identical or if one's more forceful than the other or whatever. In any case, the one I did, I enjoyed. It was a good ride. So yeah, I was quite impressed with this one, and I'm going to keep it. When I did the other video about Universal Studios, I mentioned this ride, but it connects the 2 together. So I'm going to mention it again here, and that is Hogwarts Express. Now, on the face of it, it's a transportation device. It is the quickest way to get between the 2 parks, depending on the queue. If it's got a long queue, you might be quicker walking out and kind of going to the other park and back in again, but typically this is the quickest way to go between them. And at the end of the day, it is just a glorified train, but they've done a bloody good job of theming this one up. You know, the stations on both sides are fantastically themed. One is kind of like the London train station and the other one is at Hogwarts. And because of that, you've got this whole storyline, and when you're on the train, so the windows are screens and there's kind of like something plays. It's different in both directions, so if you've never done it, make sure you get on the train going in both directions. You do need to have a park hopper ticket because clearly you're switching from one park to another. So they will check your ticket to get on this attraction. But it's good. It's really good for a transportation device, and yeah, I'm going to keep it. So this park's got a junior coaster over by that kind of Hogwarts castle thing. It's Flight of the Hippogriff. I mean, it's super basic. I can't remember if it can run a second train or if it's just one train. It's always got a massive queue. Doesn't have a fantastic throughput. Even if it is 2 trains, it still doesn't have a massive throughput. Listen, it's a kids coaster. I'm never a fan of scrapping coasters, and I always think it's nice to have that coaster for the younger audience to introduce them to the whole experience. So I'll put it in take it or leave it. But yeah, I mean, again, it's not aimed at me, but I wasn't that impressed. Right, this next one I'm not going to rate, I'm just going to rant. And that is the Pteradon Flyers. Strange attraction, right? Because you can only get on this if you are with a child. I don't think it's a particularly good attraction, certainly not forceful, and clearly has throughput issues, which is probably the reason that they're going, hey, you must have a kid with you. I don't know what the age limit is. I'm pretty sure even my youngest is too old for this, so I've never experienced it. It is just, I mean, it's 2 chairs suspended, it goes around a little bit the Jurassic Park area. My issue with this is just that kind of the enforcement of you have to have a kid. Now, it's not, there are some attractions that are clearly kids only in terms of an adult isn't even going to accompany their child, right? They are clearly designed purely for children, like the little Cars ride at Towers, for example, Cuckoo Cars or whatever it is. No adult's backside is going to fit on one of those, so that's fine, totally fine. This one though, clearly it can have an adult, it's designed to have an adult with the child. Chances are it could have 2 adults on it. Again, I don't think it's an impressive ride, so I'm probably not missing out on much, but it's just one of those weird things when you look at it and go, well, there's no reason I couldn't go on that other than you've decided I can't. So anyway, I'm not going to rate it because I've never been on it, but yeah, I find that one kind of odd for this sort of park. It's not great throughput, so why is it even there? Just get rid of it. I don't think I've done this next attraction. I actually can't even remember. I want to say it's maybe over by Hulk. Could be wrong. And that is Stormforce Acceletron, which I think is kind of Teacups-esque. It's probably not, I mean, it won't be themed like Teacups, but I think it's that kind of spinning flat ride thing. Don't remember seeing it, vaguely recall it existing. It's clearly not appealed to me. Again, flat rides, I think parks need them, so having never experienced it, I'm gonna just guesstimate that it's take it or leave it. If you've been on it, let me know, because yeah, maybe I've missed out on something, because that just doesn't look that good. There's the whole Seuss Landing area, and there's a lot of attractions there that I'm not going to cover because, well, again, quite often I kind of leave out the really kiddie things, but there are a couple I'll touch on. There is the Cat in the Hat ride itself, which is a kind of indoor dark ride thing. I've been on it a couple of times. It's quite cute. It's, I mean, listen, it's Cat in the Hat, which, you know, a lot of people are a big fan of that. Again, this is obviously aimed at that different demographic. I don't think it will ever be, like the whole Seuss Landing thing is themed, but it's not universal themed, right? It's kind of like meh, basic theming, which kind of makes sense because it's sort of cartoonesque. So for me, this one, I'm going to put this one as take it or leave it. I wouldn't get rid of it, but yeah, it's not one I went on the last time I was there. I have been on it a couple of times in the past. So yeah, definitely take it or leave it. The other one I'm going to touch on in this area, again, if you've seen many of these videos, you know that I tend to enjoy a transportation ride, like a train that goes around the park. Now, I've obviously touched on Hogwarts Express, but that's to get between the 2 parks. It's not quite the same. It's not something that you can just chill out on after you've had some food. So the closest I can think of to that would be the High in the Sky Seuss Trolley train ride. I'm having to read all these because they're stupidly long. But, you know, I mean, it is basically, it's kind of like, I think there's 2 tracks, sort of monorail-esque, slow ride around Seuss Landing. And for that reason, I quite enjoy it. Like, I think it fills that gap for me where you've got that relaxing ride that you want to get on just to take a chill out and, you know, sort of see the park from a different view and stuff. So I quite like it. It's very kiddie, obviously, but you know, big kid, always will be. So yeah, I'm going to keep this one as well. If you saw my video last week where I went through Universal Studios, you'll know that the majority of things in that park I would scrap. Whereas here, you can see that the majority of things in this park I would keep. This is definitely the better of those two parks. I'm sure Epic is going to trump both of them, but I have not experienced it yet. And at the time of recording, it's not officially open. It's got kind of annual pass holder previews right now. And from what I've seen, it looks absolutely bloody amazing. But out of these two, the two that have been there for many years, this is definitely my favourite, significantly better than the one next door. I'd love to know your thoughts on this though, because I'm sure there's some attractions you agree with and probably some that you don't. And that is totally fine, we all have different opinions. So let's get talking about them in the comments. If you've enjoyed this one, make sure you hit that like button and please do consider subscribing. If you like this kind of thing and you want to see some more parks, I have a whole playlist full of them up here.